I think my favorite thing about New Beginnings Children's Home is that it's a family environment. Even though it is a lot of work and it's a lot of kids, I just love the fact that it is my family.
New Beginning Children's Homes provides long-term family-style care to children in foster care. Where we differ than most is that 100% of our priority of placement is given to sibling groups. So a large part of what we do is reunite siblings that have been separated throughout the foster care system. So here at our Benton County campus, some of the things that we provide are we have 5 large-scale family-style homes. They're 6-bedroom, 3-bath, that have full-time live-in house parents that are dedicated to the mission and vision of helping to rewrite these children's futures.
It's so heartbreaking to see these kids come in that they're scared. They have been taken from everything they know, whether that environment was appropriate for them or safe for them or not. It's just all they've ever known. It's so fulfilling in my heart to see them change, to see them go from this sadness to a pure joy that's real.
There is so much that goes into ensuring quality care for these children. And one of the things that we've always said, and you will hear us constantly say, is if you didn't document it, it never happened. There's a major time factor that has to go into paperwork and documentation, not only to meet our state and licensing standards, but to ensure that our children are receiving the best quality of care.
So when I started volunteering here, I noticed that they were all paper and pencil, everything paper and pencil.
Anytime we brought new kids into the home, there was definitely a huge intake package that the caseworker would have to fill out. Then we would have to be handed those papers.
We had a 52-page packet, and we would send that to DHS. DHS would just fill up maybe a couple of the lines out, send it back to us. Well, that's great and all, but they wouldn't have the name of the child, they wouldn't have the date of birth of the child, they wouldn't even sign the releases. So we had to send it back to them. They send it back to us. We send it back to them. And this process probably took about 3 months. So we found out earlier on that we needed a better way. So I was like, well, you know, at my last company, we had Laserfiche. It was a great process. They had these forms. I like to call it Google Docs and Google Forms on steroids. It's just crazy. And they're amazing. They had a meeting with us. They talked to us a little bit about their program, and they introduced Laserfiche Cloud. We were able to talk about what kind of forms we were using, what kind of ways we were able to implement the process diagrams. We even talked about things to make it better. Using Laserfiche, we were able to say, okay, you know, name of the child required. Date of birth child required, physical, PACE evals, school IEPs, anything that pertains to the child that's not required.
As soon as that caseworker hits submit within that form, we're instantly notified internally that there is a caseworker within the state looking to place within our organization. We're able to immediately review this from our email and then make a reply or response directly to that inquiry. We can automatically also identify the home that that child's going to be placed in. So the moment that we hit accept, not only does the caseworker within the state system receive an approval notice, they're then prompted to complete our full intake packet, and our house parents and foster parents are also notified that they will have a new child moving into their home. All of these things have helped to reduce the amount of time that we're spending emailing back and forth, making calls to and from the caseworkers, attempting to touch base with our foster homes to talk with them about the children that we're looking at placing, all in the matter of one form, one click, one submit.
That was the whole reason we wanted Laserfiche at the very beginning, was to make things more seamless. That was about 42 forms ago. Since then, we've done everything from our referral packets to our employment applications, to our intake packets, to our daily case notes, our monthly summaries. Just about any process before that took more than 2 phone calls to make, we made that into a process for Laserfiche. One click, simplified it, done.
So let's say, for example, we have one of our foster parents are within the home and the child slips and falls and scrapes their knee. This is something that we would want to document into the child's chart. So if there's ever a question, it can easily be referenced. As we've worked through Laserfiche, when that parent fills out that incident report and they've now identified that the child has an injury, not only is it documented into the child's file, but immediately the state caseworker is notified, our residential director is notified, as well as any other relevant party that would need to know of that without ever having to pick up the phone and physically notify them themselves.
It goes straight to every person it needs to go to, so we can provide a better and faster results for the kids that are in our care.
We would have to handwrite every single note in order to be able to basically let the caseworkers know if the kids were struggling in our environment or if they were thriving.
Before Laserfiche came around for us, it would take us about 3 hours a week, and that's with both of us doing the paperwork on a Sunday night and everything, between all of the different forms as far as medication logs and the case notes and all the other forms that we had to do. There was about 50 to 60 pages that we had to hand write. Since Laserfiche has came into our organization, it has cut down to only 40 minutes on a Sunday. It cuts out the middleman.
And basically in this cloud process, we wouldn't even have to have servers. We didn't have to have a server room. We didn't have a tech person come by to manage the servers. We didn't have to worry about anything crashing or going down. I love everything about it. So we've felt a lot of comfort knowing that we didn't have to pay for all this upkeep or all this extra space. That room could be now an office. That room could now be a case manager's office. It could be now a playroom. Now that old server room or that old paper room is now just a playroom or a library. Kids are able to go in there and just relax and not pull papers out and destroy them.
The way New Beginnings has got it set up so we can log in, it gets quick access to visitation logs when we're sitting with the caseworker and they're going to go to a visit. We can even pull those up on our cell phones, have them document it, sign what time they've taken the child out. And so it's really made it a lot easier to have access to those forms at any time. Everybody's on the same page without having to bring in the paper and making copies and mailing. It just made it a whole lot easier for us to be able to make those appointments and to follow through and give everybody the update they need.
By having Laserfiche implemented and having these pre-fillable forms for these families, we have found that 100% of the efforts that go into documentation have been reduced. So what used to take them hours upon end to complete a form or a case note or a monthly summary is done in a matter of 5 minutes. So rather than taking those additional hours that would be spent towards paperwork, our families are able to turn that time and focus more on the family unit and what day-to-day life looks like here at New Beginnings. One thing I can say with absolute confidence is that through the implementation of Laserfiche within New Beginning Children's Homes, we have found a greater opportunity to serve children in need on a daily basis.
If you remember at the end of the day, when you're fostering a child, it's about that child. It's not about the hustle and bustle of all the headaches that comes with all the appointments, running 90 miles to nothing to try to get things done. But remembering we are here to make a difference for, even if it's one child, to rewrite their future for the better. Thank you to Laserfiche for coming up with the programs that y'all have made and to make it easier for us to be able to spend more time with our kids to make a difference in their life instead of being swamped with paperwork all the time. So thank you for making my life easier so I can make a difference in another child's life.